What's up, guys? Today we'll look at the best starting five of all time for LA Lakers. A player must have spent at least 5 years with the franchise to be considered eligible for this discussion. So without waiting any longer, let's get into the video. At the point guard position, I have Magic Johnson. No one can debate that, as Magic Johnson, in my opinion, is one of the 3 greatest players of all time and the greatest player for the Lakers of all time. I know that people will say Kobe, but trust me, check those tapes. Magic Johnson was an unstoppable playmaker that we have never seen, as he is the greatest point guard of all time. A 5-time NBA champion, even though throughout his career he had to deal with Bad Boy Pistons, the Boston Celtics with Larry Bird at the helm, and later in his career with Michael Jordan. Also, in a lineup full of stars, you need a great playmaker, and Magic Johnson is the best man for that job. At the shooting guard position, I have Jerry West. Jerry West is regarded by his peers and numerous former players as the most challenging player of his time. The sole player in the league history to represent the losing team and receive Finals MVP, frequently mentioned alongside Clyde Frazier as one of the top defenders of his era. West has received praise from legends including Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, and Elgin Baylor for being the toughest and most competitive player they have ever seen. To add to all of this, Jerry West is the NBA logo, which should already say a lot. Even though Jerry West traditionally is a point guard, looking at the fact that he was a great shooter for his time, I think he would fit well into the shooting guard position. At the small forward position, I have Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was perhaps the greatest Laker of all time and one of the greatest players in history. Bryant technically is a shooting guard, but we have seen numerous occasions throughout his career when situationally he would play at the small forward position. Because he had a strong body and was a fantastic defensive player, I don't see him having many issues in the small forward position. Kobe Bryant's defensive skills, mentality, clutching, offensive capabilities, and game intelligence would work perfectly on this team. At the power forward position, I have Pau Gasol. Yes, I could make certain rotations and put Wilt or even Kareem here, but I wouldn't want too many big bodies in the paint, and Pau Gasol, in my opinion, would fit this lineup extremely well considering his high IQ and ability to spread the floor. Gasol was also essentially a point guard in a big man's body, and was one of the first big men that was able to pass the ball this well at his size. Throughout his career, one of the criticisms of Pau Gasol was that he was soft, but when you look at the fact that he in his Laker years was one of the best blockers and rebounders in the league, these types of critiques sound like a bunch of nonsense. Pau Gasol played a vital role in the NBA championship that Lakers won in the 2009 and 2010, and was a perfect second banana to Kobe Bryant. His ability to sacrifice his own stats for the team will be one of the key pieces to make this team unstoppable. At the center position, I have Shaquille O'Neal. A lot of people would pick Kareem or Wilt, but in my opinion, Shaq in his prime was arguably the greatest player of all time. Yes, his prime was extremely short, but that doesn't matter when it comes to the greatest starting five lineup, as I'm assuming that all of these players are in their prime. When Shaq was at his finest, he wasn't just a force of nature, he was nature. He was by far the biggest, strongest, and most athletic big man on the block, and when he was tuned in, he was completely unstoppable. I have never seen a player to be this dominant in an NBA court in his prime, as it seemed like no one can stop him, and he essentially played under his own rules, because referees usually wouldn't blow fouls on players that were defending against Shaq. He was simply too big, too strong, and it seemed like fouls didn't make any effect on him. Also, one of the things that people forget to mention about Shaq is that he was a great passer for his size, and he actually ran the floor extremely well in his early years. If taking a player for player in his prime, I would probably put only 2 to 3 players before Shaq, and that says a lot. This is my best Lakers starting 5 of all time. We will be doing the best starting 5 lineups of all time for every single team in the NBA. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let me know in the comments who would be in your best Lakers starting 5 of all time.